Hi, for today's video, we'll be looking further into the sketching of quadratic graphs. For this, I've chosen a question from O-Level E-Math 2017, Paper 1, Question 4. First, let's have a look at the question. Sketch the graph of y equals to negative bracket x minus 8 bracket x plus 3 on the axis below. Indicate clearly the values where the graph crosses the x and y axis. Before we actually start sketching this quadratic graph, there will be 5 points that we need to do before we can sketch the graph. The first point will be find out whether it's a maximum or minimum graph. Second is to find the y-intercept. Third is to find the x-intercept. Fourth is to find the line of symmetry. And lastly is to find the maximum and the minimum point itself. Alright, so for this equation that we're given, y is equals to negative x minus 8 and x plus 3. Alright, so for the first point, to know whether it's a maximum or minimum graph, we need to expand out this equation. So when we expand this, we have x squared plus 3x minus 8x minus 24. And when we simplify this, we get x squared minus 5x minus 24. And when we expand out the negative sign, we get a negative x squared plus 5x plus 24. The coefficient of the x squared will tell us whether it's a maximum or minimum. If it's a positive value, then it will mean that it's a minimum graph. If it's a negative value, then it will be a maximum graph. Alright, so we have this equation giving us a maximum graph. Next is to find the y-intercept. So in order to find the y-intercept, we'll let x be equals to 0. So we'll have the equation as y equals to negative 0 minus 8, 0 plus 3. That will be minus negative 8 multiplied by 3, negative 24, and that will be 24. So for this, we'll have the y-intercept as 0, 24. Alright, next is to find the x-intercept. So for x-intercept, we'll let y be equals to 0. So let y be equals to 0. We'll have 0 equals to negative x minus 8 and x plus 3. Alright, so we can actually do our solving of quadratic equation. That will give us as x minus 8 equals to 0, or x plus 3 equals to 0. That will then give us x equals to 8, or x equals to minus 3. So here we have two x-intercept, namely minus 3, 0 and 8, 0. Alright, next, in order to find the line of symmetry, we can take both of these x-intercept and halve it. So the line of symmetry will be equals to x equals to 8 minus, or rather we add them together, divided by 2. Alright, so it'll be 8 minus 3. That will give us 5 over 2, and it will give us 2.5. Alright, so our line of symmetry will be at x equals to 2.5. Alright, so last but not least, we'll have the maximum and minimum point. That will actually be a value that has the x of 2.5. So we'll substitute this value back into our main equation. X equals to minus 2.5 minus 8, 2.5 plus 3, negative, this will give us a negative 5.5, this will give us a positive 5.5, and when we have both of these numbers multiplied together, it will give us 30.25. So our maximum point here will be at x equals to 2.5, so we have a 2.5, 30.25 as our maximum point. Now we have all these values, we can proceed to sketch our quadratic curve. Alright, so let's draw a coordinate in. So we have y-intercept of 0, 24. So let's call this 24. Our x-intercept is at minus 3 and 8. Somewhere in the middle here we'll have our line of symmetry 2.5, and somewhere further up we'll have our maximum point. So if we join these together, this will give us our y of the maximum point 30.25. Alright, so this will be our line y equals to negative x minus 8 x plus 3. Alright.